The $4 book that answered a question no one had solved in 20 years. Last Tuesday, I ducked into a used bookstore in Seattle to kill time before the rain got worse. You know the kind of place? Narrow aisles, crooked shelves, that warm, dusty smell mixed with old paper and faint coffee. The kind of store that feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for the right person to pull the right book. I wasn't looking for anything special. I just wanted something familiar. That's when I saw it. A battered paperback copy of Dune, shoved sideways between two fantasy novels. The cover was creased, the corners were soft, and the spine had that telltale white line from being opened too many times. It was clearly loved. The price sticker said $4. I hesitated. I already owned Dune. I'd been hoping to find a hardcover. Something nice for the shelf. I actually pulled my hand back, then paused. There was something about how worn it was, like it had lived a life before me. So I bought it. That night at home, I made some tea and cracked the book open. When I reached about a third of the way in, something slipped free and fluttered onto the couch. It wasn't a receipt or a random note. It was a folded piece of yellow legal paper. The paper was old, the edges soft and darkened with time. When I unfolded it, my stomach dropped. The handwriting was rushed and uneven, written in blue ink that had faded just slightly with age. At the top was a date, October 2004. The message itself was short, but it hit like a punch. David, I hid the bonds in the hollow leg of the old workbench in the garage. I don't trust Elena. If anything happens to me, check the leg. Do not sell the house until you check. Love, Dad. I just sat there staring at it. This wasn't a bookmark. This wasn't a forgotten grocery list. This was a secret, and somehow it had been sealed inside a sci-fi novel for 2 decades. My first instinct was guilt, like I'd opened someone else's mail, but that quickly turned into something heavier, the sense that I was holding on to information that didn't belong to me, but desperately needed to be found. I flipped to the inside cover of the book. Stamped faintly in red ink were the words, Ex Libris, Arthur P. Halloway. Now I had a name, and suddenly I couldn't let it go. I told myself I'd just do a quick search, 5 minutes max. 3 hours later, I was deep into obituary archives and public records, fully committed to what I jokingly call my internet detective mode, usually reserved for figuring out whether my ex has truly moved on. Eventually I found it, an obituary from Tacoma. Arthur Halloway passed away suddenly in 2005. Listed among the survivors, a son named David. My heart was pounding as I searched social media. There he was, a man in his 50s, normal profile. Family photos, nothing that screamed, "This is about to change your life." I debated messaging him for a full hour. What if he thought I was running a scam? What if bringing this up reopened wounds he'd already buried? Eventually, I sent the message. It sat unanswered for 2 days. I assumed that was the end of it. Then yesterday afternoon, my phone buzzed. David, who are you? And how do you have my father's handwriting? I explained everything. The bookstore. The book. The note. I sent him a photo. He called me immediately. He didn't even say hello. He was crying. Between breaths, he told me his father had died unexpectedly. No warning. No time to prepare. His stepmother, Elena, had taken control almost immediately. The house was sold. The garage cleared. Everything gone within weeks. For 20 years, David said, he'd felt like something didn't add up. Like his father had meant to leave something behind. But with no will and no proof, there was nothing he could do. Except now there was proof. And here's the part none of us expected. The workbench was still there. The house had changed owners. Tenants had come and gone. But the old workbench in the garage had never moved. This morning, David drove there. He showed the current renters the photo of the note. He explained who his father was. He asked politely if he could take a look. They said yes. An hour later, I got another message. A photo. The leg of the workbench had been opened. Inside was a hidden compartment. Not cash, but bearer bonds. And beneath them, paperwork for a small cabin in Montana that had never been registered under his stepmother's name. David wrote, I spent 20 years thinking I was wrong about my dad, that he left us nothing. You didn't just find money. You gave me my father back. Tomorrow, we're meeting for coffee. I'm bringing the book. I think I'll let him keep it. After all, it was never really mine to begin with.